Next up is listeners' takeover, and we have a question from Harry. I've been out of cycling for years after suffering with mental health. Since then, I have gained weight and lost a lot of fitness. How does someone like myself get back into cycling without being too hard on oneself?
I have an opinion on this.
Yeah.
As someone that has had mental health challenges over the last couple of years and done less and less fitness and put on weight, as discussed with my therapist at the beginning of this year, she was like, right, so exercise is good. You need to do exercise regularly. How much do you want to do? And I was like, I'd like to aim for a minimum of 4 days a week, but probably I'd like to do an hour a day, 6 days a week. And she was like, no, it's unattainable. It's too much. It needs to be something that you can achieve. So my only objective is twice a week, half an hour. Simple as that. And if I do miss it, it doesn't make a big deal. You know, I don't make a big deal out of it. But it's small enough that it is achievable and it forms a good habit. And if you do it consistently, just that small amount, you might find yourself adding a little bit of extra in here and there. Ultimately, don't get yourself too caught up on trying to do loads of stuff and cut loads of weight, because you'll end up just having a horrible time. And that is not the point of it. The point is to focus on health rather than fitness.
It's bite-sized, isn't it?
Yeah.
To be honest, it's not dissimilar from... I was in a position where I was relatively at zero fitness, and Ken started training me. This was just before I moved to the Northeast. And his sessions were zone 2, at the beginning, zone 2 on the turbo, half an hour. That was the first one. 45 minutes the next week. And then it's not dissimilar. Like, it's not that much more.
I think,
and that's professional coach. It's starting off. You have to build a base. You build its layers, isn't it?
I think the important thing that I've learned from my process over the last 6 months is I've always set unobtainable goals. That's just how I've always done the stuff, which I never achieve. And I was like, well, that's how I want to do stuff, which is just stupid. So now I've set an obtainable goal, which still is hard to achieve every now and again, but I'm not going to change that goal. So even if I'm, riding 10 hours a week, 5 days a week, then I'm still going to have the goal of twice a week, 30 minutes. That's the only objective, because there'll be times that I can't do 10 hours and then all of a sudden it'll become a negative thing. And
you beat yourself up.
Yeah, and then you go, well, there's no point. Like, I can only do 2 hours, half hour this week. Last 3 months, I've done 10 hours a week, whereas this week I can only do an hour. What's the point? Because it's still good for me. That's the point. So really small and just go with it,
Yeah.
Don't overthink it. Just aim for health.
Do you include weights with that as well?
No. So what I've learned, particularly over the last couple of months, is nothing is the same as a bit of cardio for me.
Yeah, okay.
So I've done a lot of things over the last couple of months that are very physical and very tiring, and whether they are actually training or whether they are actually just, moving things around the house, decorating, that kind of stuff, which is very, very physical. It doesn't have the same impact as doing half hour of cardio. So
for your mental state.
Yeah. So what I've found is, what I have done over the last couple of months is gone, well, I've done 15 hours worth of physical activity this week, whether it be painting, moving boxes around, reorganizing stuff, which is like hard work, but I still need to get my 30 minutes in a week, because it gets that endorphin release, whereas moving weights, going to the gym, doesn't get an endorphin hit for me. So the important thing for me is to still get those 30 minutes.
Yeah, fair play.
I think the other thing to remember is that we've all been in that position to some extent of not being as fit as we once were. And I think the worst thing is looking back and being like, I'm not that. It just creates such a negative thing. So it's almost just like, it kind of doesn't matter where you were. Just start from where you are and build in a way that is positive to the best, and don't set unachievable goals. And also, what is it they say? Like, comparison is the thief of joy. don't look at what other people are doing. Doesn't matter.
Even if the people are your old self.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly, completely. I'm very guilty of doing that, and I know you are as well. You sort of think, oh, so even when we were talking about the BMX Everest, I started to think I was probably the fittest I ever was there. I did so many laps with you, and I just found it so easy, and it was great. And I think, well, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Do you want to be that fit? Is there benefits in being that fit?
No.
Like 20 hours a week fit?
Not really. It's
Not-
just you just have so much pressure to continue that. I think, you know what I mean. You think, well, I am this now. The bar is so high. I have to do a lot to maintain that.
Yeah.
Sometimes just taking that pressure off yourself, letting it dip a little bit.
It's more dependent on the things you do, isn't it? I think I'm more all around fit now than I was when I was racing, when I was doing 20 hours a week on the bike, because you just neglect other aspects of which was wrong, I suppose. Like I wasn't doing any weights and stuff. Whereas now I could do 100 press ups if I want to.
Yeah.
I can run 10K if I want to and not be completely smashed the next day. Whereas when I was doing 20 hours a week on the bike, I was bike fit, but was I healthy?
True. But
compared
also just
to
life
now?
changes. Just your focuses change, your commitments change, just things happen. I'm gonna have to, I almost swore.
It happens.
Yeah, I'm going to have to beat myself out now. I've created more work. Stuff happens and you can't do anything about it.
The biggest thing I've changed is I don't care about fitness. I care about health.
Yeah.
So, Harry, I hope you manage to get back on the bike and everything goes well and that advice helped in some way.